And our next recruit that we're going to be talking about today is Diezel Wilkinson out of Spokane, Washington, played at East Valley High School. He was announced a safety at 6 foot and 188 pounds. Patrick, what are your thoughts on Diezel?
Yeah, Diezel was a guy that had kind of limited film on the defensive side of the ball. He's listed as a safety, but almost all of his tape, uh, almost all of his highlight tape is receiver clips. Similar to one of our last recruits, but he just looks like an overall really solid athlete. He's got really good speed. He's got solid hands. He gets open on offense, and I mean, he has all the tools to be a solid defensive back. Excuse me. I'd expect him to play more of a free safety type role. And some of the clips I watched, he could be a little conservative coming up and tackling in the few clips that I did see of him playing defense.
When you say conservative, are you talking like might be more trying to do the shoulder tackle kind of thing that we see people bounce off of, or more, or something else?
So sometimes when there's a run play where you see players run and they just trigger, take off, and go make a tackle, he's one of those guys that plays it more conservative, and he'll be a sure tackler, but it'll be 4 yards downfield or more yards downfield than the more aggressive guy. Like, I think he's the more consistent tackler, good ball skills, like he'll go pick a ball off, but I don't think he's going to be a guy up in the box making plays in the run game. Which is, why I think he'll be more of a free safety type guy. Like in the film we see, it looked like he had really solid speed, which is, a good thing for a safety. And I'm sure he'll be playing a lot of like over the top type coverages, too deep safeties, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a ton of film of him playing defense, so it's kind of tough to say exactly, but he's got the tools.
Okay, like kind of Patrick says, like kind of not a lot of tape, like Patrick said. It's not like it's a bad thing. He's just kind of similar to Patrick was hinting at. He's kind of like more of a kind of similar, like maybe not the same style of athlete, but kind of more that athlete that like Joshua Barnes was, where he could play both offense and defense. And maybe isn't a starter, right? Maybe isn't a consistent contributor on defense right away, but is, like we've said for some others, like he's contributing more in special teams first, getting those reps early on in his time as a Vandal.
I definitely think special teams is somewhere he'll probably excel, being one of those just athletes that, can play both ways. Yeah, he's just don't quite know because we haven't seen him. So, I mean, he could end up developing into a total awesome stud. It'd be really cool to have a guy with the name Diezel as our starting safety one day. That'd be pretty cool. I'm sure Mr. Dallas Hammer would appreciate that name. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton to add. There's not a ton of film there.
And before wrapping up, I do always want to mention that Tubbs the Club is always brought to you, as always, is brought to you by Snake River Stampede Whiskey and Hughes River Expedition. And always don't forget to sign up for our Patreon, where you can always get more in-depth breaking news before it's announced, before things are officially announced. Any final thoughts before we move on to our next signing, Patrick?
No, I mean I guess you could say like he did pop some guys defensively. He could hit pretty hard defensively as well, and that's a fun thing to see from the safety spot. Albeit he can be a little conservative and more consistent, but every once in a while he could hit stick someone, which was just entertaining.
And with that, we're moving on to our next signing. Go Vandals.